Hey, if you like what you hear today on our Splitting Hairs podcast episode and you'd like to hear more content from us, please visit our Patreon page, patreon.com/splittinghairs, and become a member. And by becoming a member, you'll receive very exclusive benefits. How about that, Max?
That's cool.
All right.
Welcome to another edition of Splitting Hairs with Max and Nicky. As usual, I'm Max.
And I'm Nicky.
And together we're Max and Nicky.
On today's episode, we're going to be talking about online dating apps and sites. And
to help us with that discussion, we have
special guest, friend of the podcast, as they say, Guydonna Nicius. Welcome, Guydonna. Hi, Guydonna.
Thanks. Hi. It's been years.
Since you've been on the podcast?
Since you've been on the podcast. Well, we did also had stopped the podcast for maybe a year and a half or something like that, right, Nicky?
Yeah, but Guydonna was one of our first guests on the show. I think she was on within the first 12 episodes, I think. I think you might have been on the 12th episode or something.
I don't even know. I feel like I was in college still or something, or just started working. Who knows? Look at us now.
Yeah, I think you had just started working at the company you work for now.
Yeah.
Or you're still working with the same company, I assume, right?
Yes.
And we talked about like fashion trends and things like that at the time.
That's right.
So if you want to go check that out, audience, you can on...
Don't. I'm kidding. Just kidding.
You can just scroll through the past episodes and find that episode. So how's life? How are things? You know, I mean, we saw each other the other night. You came to our show. That was the first time in a year and a half we saw each other in person, right? Mm-hmm. But
that was interesting. It's very cool. You guys have your own shit now. No guests. Well, kind of, but still no guests. And I'm proud of you guys. Wow, amazing.
Thank you.
Well, we do have Vintage Basement still going on, but we wanted to do a show that just did our own thing. You know, we just were doing our own thing. You know, and I don't know. I'd say it went pretty well, right?
I think so. I think it went great.
Oh, thank you. Cool. Mm-hmm. I was fishing for compliments.
Oh,
no, I'm joking.
Stop then. No more compliments. You could have done better.
Anyway, do we have any station business to discuss before we begin talking about the subject at hand, Nicky?
I should mention we have the next edition of Vintage Basement is not going to be on a Monday as usual because the theater we do it normally in is
having repairs.
And so the next one is going to be on Thursday, October 28th at 10 p.m. So you can get your tickets now at just go to maxandnicky.com or go to frigid.nyc and find the appropriate links, and you can get tickets.
Wait, you're sure it's frigid.nyc? Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, in any event, yes, that is what you do.
And another thing I want to mention is we're actually going to be starting up an additional podcast with a couple other people. It's going to be called Conversations About Conversations.
At least one other person.
Where
the other person who's going to be the other co-host, his name is Colin Burgess, and some of you listeners might know who he is.
And it's going to be a podcast about analyzing and dissecting conversations we've had previously, either we've had or other people have had, and we like to get into the nitty-gritty of all that. So that should be kind of fun and hopefully funny. So look out for that. Guydonna, right. Do you have any station business?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No. No. I don't have a station.
All right.
Well, let's get into it, huh? Dating apps and sites. What are your thoughts on them, Guydonna? From what I understand, you use them, right?
I use them so much. It's so cool. I mean, I think they're great. I don't. They used to be like a stigma, I guess, but that's just like how anyone meets anyone now for dating or other reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right. I mean, I know some people that have gotten married from the person they met on a dating app or a dating site.
And how successful, as far as dating apps have gone, that the date you've had has turned into something more significant than just a date? Has it been like a pretty successful? The rate of success has been pretty good, or
No,
Oh, interesting.
not at all. I mean, like my only two like real relationships where there was like a title, they were found through the dating apps, but definitely have cycled through a lot of people like than one would going the traditional route. So, which I think that's fine. Like you learn so much about what you're looking for, what you're not looking for.
Sure.
You know? So I like it. It's cool. It's interesting. I made a lot of friends actually. That's a good one. Yeah. I've made a lot more friends that like we've dated, it wasn't working out, but we like got along great. So we still talk and go out like as friends.
Oh wow, really?
Cool.
Okay, cool.
That's neat. We have a mutual friend, Kevin, who was on this podcast. He's been on this podcast a few times. He met somebody through a dating app recently, and he's like totally in love with her. Actually, I mean, they're.
Oh my god, I didn't know. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we were going to actually almost have him on this episode with you, so we could kind of have a four-person conversation about it. But he was busy with this girlfriend of his. They were going away for the weekend. I mean, it seems pretty serious, so that's pretty cool. Something, that blossomed from a dating app. So how about that?
Right, and that's inspiring to hear, especially for someone like me, as I have been apprehensive about dating apps in the past. Although more recently, I would say in the past couple of years, I've been much more open to them.
So we should let the audience know that we had in the past, maybe when we started the podcast, we did an episode on online dating apps, but Max's view has changed significantly since then about this world of dating via technology, and he, kind of made a complete 180, right, Max?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I still have. I think I'd still prefer to meet somebody in the outside world. That's still a preference, but I'm not opposed to meeting on a dating site now, I guess.
Don't you have to did you have to upgrade your phone now?
Not necessarily. I did upgrade my.
He did upgrade his phone.
I did upgrade my phone recently, but that's beside the point. You don't need to actually.
Yeah, you do.
You can do them
not
on
for some
on
of the
computer.
sites.
You can do them on a computer.
I don't use those sites. The fuck?
No. You can use Tinder and
I know.
Bumble
I don't use those.
What do you use?
I used a kink app called Field.
Field.
FEELD.
Oh, okay.
It's a much more sex positive, BDSM kink friendly community type deal. So I'm going more towards the polyamorous route now. I'm experimenting with that.
Oh, really? Interesting. What led you down sort of that route, the polyamorous route?
Oh my God, it is a long story. Please tell. Oh my God.
Tell as much as you feel comfortable talking about.
Yeah, as much as you're feeling comfortable.
I will tell everything, but it's a long story.
We're here
for this podcast.
So my ex-boyfriend, right? Mm-hmm. So I met him on Bumble, and we were together for like 2.5 years. I don't remember.
It was a while, yeah.
Yeah. And like we were living together during COVID, and then we broke up during COVID, but we were still living together. And it was like a 1-bedroom apartment. And like it was just too much anyway. But yeah, like it was just, no, I can't. The thought of being in a monogamous relationship again, like physically makes me feel like I'm suffocating. Like I can't not have the option to go outwards I don't know. But I got into like BDSM and stuff during COVID as well. And so I've been experimenting, which is a terrible time to have done that during like the disinfecting grocery time, experimenting with random people, but I was, and I didn't get COVID. I'm fine. Just a lot of good stories.
And you are vaccinated currently, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I wasn't then. That wasn't a thing. The vaccine didn't exist yet then.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, good thing you didn't get COVID, and you're doing okay now.
Word, fam.
And okay, so that's interesting. And so you feel like because you felt suffocated in a monogamous relationship, that you're experiencing this polyamorous route now.
Yeah.
Interesting. And you've met a lot of people in the polyamorous community, I guess.
In the kink community, polyamorous, or like even like couples like looking for a third. I haven't done that, but that's like the main purpose of the app was for like 3-ways or whatever. But I mean, all sorts of people out there. I met a bunch of awesome people. I've even met someone who was in charge of helping design the app. I didn't even realize that was the case until I went on a date with him and he told me.
Oh, wow. Now, really? Wow.
Yeah. Now I'm like I'm in the process of being vetted to go to like play parties and stuff. So
being vetted to go to play parties. What does that entail? Being vetted?
Yes. So, totally new ground for me. I went to my first mixer like 2 weeks ago or last week or something. Yeah. And basically like a play party is basically like a sex party, but like you can't go unless you've been vetted. You have to know someone within the group. You have to have a phone interview, like a background check, and you have to be approved to get invited to those events. So I'm in the process of trying to be approved for that. And it's like, it's crazy because like you think about that stuff, like in Hollywood, it just seems so seedy and like weird. Like there's only like old men down to like predators or some shit, but that's not the case. And it's actually like so much safer than meeting someone at a bar. Because like no one at a bar, like anyone can go to a bar. They can be a sex offender, like a drug dealer or whatever. But they're like, they have everyone's information who's at the location.
That's like, good. So they're being safe about it. That's
good. You have to. So,
so have you gone on? Let me try to find the right words. Have you gone on a date or several dates with somebody who is currently in a polyamorous relationship with somebody else?
Yeah.
Have you experienced any sort of jealousy at all, or anything like that?
My first relationship outside of monogamy, that was the case because I was trying to transition my mindset, because I've just always been used to like being monogamous or whatever. So my first relationship, experimenting with polyamory, I did experience a lot of jealousy, not due to the other people he was playing with, the fact that he got another partner after me. Then I was like, oh, I'm not good enough. Like, why do you have to get an additional partner? Like, I don't care about the other people you with. Like, I was the new toy. I'm like, but then he got another one. Now I was like, oh my God, I can't. So that didn't work, but I'm okay now.
Have you, like, going from the opposite way, have you, or not, sorry, the other, or flipping around the script, have you been with other partners who have felt jealous of somebody else that you were with?
Yes.
Really? Interesting.
Yes.
And how was that resolved? Just said, hey, you knew that. Right.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay. And it's actually with the same person, actually. I was seeing someone else and they were upset that I was seeing that person. I was upset that that person was seeing someone else. It was like a mess.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, like,
does that happen a lot in sort of the polyamory community, or?
I don't know. It hasn't happened since. I really think that was just an instance where both of us, the guy that I was seeing that got jealous, and then me seeing the person that I got jealous, was that we were just new to it.
New to the thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But now that like I have a more better understanding and a grasp of it, it hasn't been the case recently. But I have not found a primary partner yet. I'm just floating around now.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Mm-hmm. And so you don't use the other traditional dating apps anymore, I guess. Like, I mean, not traditional,
I have
but
Tinder,
you don't use
but like I don't know. It's lost. It's the people on Tinder and Field are very different. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. The people, they use the same apps, but like you find the kinky people on Tinder, but they're not very prominent. And then Tinder is very much now the case. I wasn't using it like that originally, but like it's only for hookups apparently now. Like I was using Tinder to find a relationship and getting my heart broken a bunch, so I was using it wrong. But Field is people are just very open, and it's not just. I mean, you get the occasional asshole like that. You just want to hook up and like whatever, bye, see you later. But like that's so easy to find and boring. Like I don't know. I feel like Field is better.
So is that the thing with Tinder now? Is people use it mainly as a hookup site? Is that
that's what I've been experiencing, noticing?
So then I'm I guess oblivious to this because I do use Tinder myself, and I mean I'm looking for somebody for more of a serious relationship. Maybe I shouldn't be using Tinder for that, huh?
I think maybe Bumble would be better for you.
Would be butter.
Bumble would be butter for me.
Bumble would be
I do
butter.
use Bumble as well.
Well, it's interesting. I think Tinder originally, I believe it started as a hookup thing, actually. And then it became more of a regular dating thing that people were using to find more long-term stuff. And now I guess what you're saying is it's turned back into what it was originally, I think.
I'm sure people use it for both those reasons, but
sure.
As far as I'm concerned now, it is mainly for, I don't know, it's hookups.
Maybe I should be using like sites for older people, like Match.com or something like that. Or
honestly, like with your personality, the fact that you would go and do that, if you met someone on there like that was on there to do that as well, you guys would get along great, I think. If you both found each other on an older person's website, but you're like young as hell, I think that would be cute.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. I notice on Tinder a lot that you'll run across these profiles that it's almost like they're just promoting their Instagram account, you know?
There's a lot of
like they're like, oh, follow me on Instagram or message me on Instagram.
That's annoying.
It must be even worse, actually, for guys. A lot of bots, too, I'm sure, for you guys.
A lot of bots,
well.
yeah. A lot of bots, yeah.
Are you talking about like fembots? No, I'm just kidding. I know what you're talking about. I'm just kidding.
But maybe, but yeah. A lot more phishing going on for the guys on there.
Sure. I've been getting a lot of bots recently trying to Facebook friend me, actually.
It's like Facebook?
Yeah.
I deleted my Facebook in like 2012. I haven't been on there.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. Have you been on Hinge? I heard that one's for real
I do use Hinge. I
haven't used it though.
Seem to find as much success on there. Although I did go out on a date before from Hinge, right before the pandemic, actually. But I didn't.
What happened?
I didn't click enough with the person in
Oh, okay. Is she
well, he
real
life, like he didn't click like accept enough to make it.
Be quiet.
I'm just kidding.
No, it just, there wasn't a
connection.
We weren't vibing, as the kids say, huh?
Was she a bad kisser?
No, it wasn't like that. I'm a very picky person, and I try to find somebody who can be passionate about the same things that I'm passionate about,
She didn't want to argue with you.
Well, even what's that? Well, even if they were had an opposite opinion as me, but they were passionate about that would be kind of cool, I guess, right?
I could see that. Like, a date going well for you is you two screaming at the top of your lungs at each other about your opinions on a certain topic. I feel like that would be a good date for you.
Well, I will say
it have to be I think it'd have to be a topic that's, seemingly to the outside world sort of a mundane topic, but it would be interesting for them.
Yeah,
because I think I think Nicky, if he was in an argument about politics, that would be a turnoff. Actually,
right?
I don't think I could actually go out with a Republican. Or they would have to be. They'd have to be a well informed Republican that didn't vote for Trump. That would maybe be the only exception.
I know what you mean.
I don't know.
That's very hard to find. Someone, not a blind following Republican, they'll deform their opinions.
But I wouldn't want to I wouldn't want to go with a blind following liberal.
Yeah.
I would want somebody who, I would want somebody that isn't a sheep, somebody that
they follow based on character.
Yeah.
And their personal opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, I will say this though. There are I think there's certain not rules, but there's certain things that if they didn't agree with me on, it would be hard for me to want to continue seeing that person. If somebody said that they hated the Beatles, it would be hard for me to want to continue going out with that person,
I don't like the Beatles either.
I don't know if you do or not. Have you heard their whole catalog?
No.
See, there you go.
There was a commercial that came on that Disney has locked in a vault footage of the Beatles, and it looked interesting. Right. I'd watch it, but I'm not a fan of their music. It doesn't get my foot tapping.
Well,
and that's fine.
I suggest delving deeper into their catalog. No. I'll send you some songs of theirs that will get you your foot tapping. I'm not going to listen to it. Why not? You're like a radical Christian. Well, why wouldn't you want to listen to it?
Because I don't like them.
But how do you know? Because I already heard. What did you hear of their stuff? You know that one song? Jolene, Jolene, Jolene. Fuck. Hey Jude. There's that one. There's, I don't know. They're just also, maybe I just hear the cookie cutter commercial songs and I'm just like. Because they have so many songs and a lot of their songs sound very different from one another. I mean, if you look at the early Beatles versus the late Beatles, completely different. Who else came out around that time? The Rolling Stones were quite big at the time. The Zombies. I don't like the Rolling Stones really, but the Zombies. I feel like I would like the Rolling Stones more than the Beatles. Oh, really? Yeah. That would be if a classic. If a girl were to say that on a date with me, that would spark a very big debate. Well, actually, the Beatles wrote the Rolling Stones' first hit. Actually, it's true. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they have that. On them. It's all about presentation. Yeah, and I'm not. But then they kind of if you look at, there's an album that the Rolling Stones released right after the Beatles' iconic Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. I have that record. It looks. It looks very similar in aesthetic, actually, the album cover, and it's okay, they're clearly mimicking something here. Yeah. When the Beatles got into psychedelic kind of music, the Rolling Stones started delving into that direction too. I mean,
That's not my field of expertise, but I've never been a Beatles person. I won't even like wear Beatles merch just like for fashion. Like I really.
What do you think about that, by the way, about like people wearing like Metallica t-shirts?
I think it's cool.
And they
if
don't
it's styled
know anything
properly,
about.
I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I used to think it was fucked up, but like, who gives a shit? Like, okay, they're wearing a Metallica shirt and they don't know anything about Metallica. Like, go get off at your next train stop and move on with your life, you know?
That's true, yeah. Well, that's a good way of looking at it. Why concern yourself with that person?
Yeah.
Wait, am I hearing... Wait, are you guys saying metallic or Metallica?
Metallica.
Oh, okay. Because I thought you said metallic shirts. And I was like, oh, that's interesting.
No.
No, yeah,
I have
Metallica
a couple of like
t-shirts.
Kiss shirts and stuff. I fucking love Kiss though, but I can't like name all their songs.
Sure, yeah.
I just think they look fucking sick. I also have an Iron Maiden shirt. I think their songs are corny, but their shirts are that. What is the guy's name? Freddie or something? What's the Iron Maiden dude's name?
You know, I can't remember right now. That's
Iron Maiden.
I really like their shirts, but I don't like.
Well, that's a good way of looking at it. If you like the design of the T-shirt, then that's good, right? You know.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost like the band is like delves into another territory of fashion where maybe that wasn't the original intention, but that has become part of their sort of fan base is not their music, but their fashion or their...
Exactly. It's just like any musician that has like a clothing line. They could make some sick ass clothes, but you hate their music.
Right.
Like I'm not a big fan of Kanye, but his sneakers are kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm not.
I was going to say Kanye West.
either.
Actually, some might even say the bulk of his money comes from his stuff outside of music. Actually,
he's very talented. Fashion-wise.
Sean Combs or
P. Diddy.
P. Diddy. He created what, Rockaware?
Sean.
And Rockaware is Jay-Z, right?
Is it?
I think so. Yeah.
I know he's in his record. I don't know if that's his clothing line though. If Rockaware is his or not.
I don't know.
I think it's part of Rock Nation or whatever.
Right.
I don't know.
You know, audience, do not quote me on this because I could not.
Don't quote me either. And don't come after me for saying I don't like the Beatles. Fuck off.
I'm going to come after you.
Whatever.
I'm going to try to make you listen to the Beatles eventually. Good stuff.
Yes, Rockaware is founded by Damon Dash and Sean Jay-Z Carter. And Jay-Z.
Okay.
Both of them.
Yeah, same Dash.
Well, there you go. Rockaware, Jay-Z. So yeah, it's actually probably advantageous for a popular musical artist to get into fashion lines, you know?
Or anything else, cosmetics.
Sure.
Skincare.
Well, yeah, I mean, this isn't a musician, but what's her name? One of the Kardashians. I mean,
Kylie Jenner.
Kylie Jenner is, a billionaire because of cosmetics.
Yeah, that whole family, they just are really great business people. Like, people hate them, but they're fucking geniuses. They know how to make some fucking money, you know?
Yeah, they do make, yeah.
They have everything. I even have a fucking, what's her name? Not Kylie, Kendall, the other one. She has a toothpaste company called Moon. And
Really, a toothpaste company?
Yes. And I don't know if she's a freaking dental hygienist or whatever, but that packaging, it matches my bathroom decor. So I bought it.
And does the toothpaste taste different from other toothpaste? What's the deal?
They have something. I think they do have some interesting flavors, but the thing I have, it's just it's normal. It has fluoride whitening factors.
Sure.
It's not too strong of a mint, but it's in a black tube, a matte black tube, and I have matte black soap dispensers and shit in my bathroom. And I was like, oh yes. So I'm a sucker
that's
for
good
packaging.
that you're sort of you're matching the decor of your bathroom with appropriate products, it's all about that feng shui, right?
I mean, I'm supposed to be using like Sensodyne or something because my teeth and my gums do suck ass, but
I used Sensodyne for a long time too, because my teeth get sensitive, but I stopped. I was using it for a long time, and then I noticed that you could start getting some Sensodyne could start staining your teeth a little bit actually. So I stopped using it all the time. I use it once in a while now.
Stain it like how?
Like there's a thing in it. Like if you'll notice on the bottle, actually, it'll say something that may cause staining of the teeth or something like that. And
like green or
I don't know because I think it's a particular type of. There's different fluorides, I guess, that some toothpastes use, and I think the particular fluoride that they use, I think it's called stannous fluoride, which stains. No, I don't. I could be totally mixing things up right now, but I know that like there's a mouthwash I was using for a while that said may cause staining even actually.
I didn't even know that.
And I was like, oh, I'm not going to use this mouthwash anymore because I was noticing my teeth getting like a little bit. They looked like there was some staining going on, and I thought, am I brushing too hard? I thought maybe like I was brushing away the enamel on my teeth or something like that. And then I went to the dentist. He said, no, it's just staining. Have you been drinking, or do you drink coffee, or do you smoke? And I'm like, no. So yeah, some toothpastes have a certain component to them. I think it might be different type of fluorides or whatever, and mouthwashes have a thing sometimes that they say they stain the teeth. And so I stopped using Sensodyne all the time, and actually I'm only using regular toothpaste now. So
what's regular toothpaste? Crest, Colgate?
Yeah, just fluoride, regular, non-sensitive.
You should try Kendall Jenner's Moon toothpaste.
How expensive
is that?
I don't need to do that.
I don't know. It's at Target.
It's at Target, really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Why don't you want to try it? Just because she's a Kardashian? That's so rude.
Well, no, I just assume it's gonna be more expensive.
Right. Yeah. I stick with Colgate and Crest 3D.
It's $9.
$9 for toothpaste?
How big is the tube?
$9. 4.2 ounces.
That's too expensive.
That's too expensive for my.
Although I'll use Arm & Hammer sometimes.
That's expensive?
No, it's not. It's cheap. But
anyway,
like Arm & Hammer is like kind of more of a natural. It's use baking soda, but it kind of it kind of burns a little bit.
Is it really rough? No, isn't it kind of like
no? I look
corrosive.
No, I feel like it's rough. That's a myth. That's a myth. Like sometimes there are certain whitening agents in toothpastes that they recommend not using too much because it can be rough for your enamel, but. I mean, baking soda feels like that.
Enema. I heard you. You said enema.
It can be rough for your enema, the baking soda.
Wait, did I say enema?
No.
Oh, no.
You did it, but...
she's just
fucking with you.
But it can be rough for that, too. I mean, it can, boy, I bet that could really get things out. It'll be a real good enema right there.
Do you guys have one? I have one. It's good. You should get one.
I've had to have an enema before.
I've had to do that.
You don't have one for your house?
No.
You guys? Okay, never mind.
I mean, we've had, Nicky and I both have had some digestive issues in the past and have had to have a colonoscopy before, actually. So we've had to clear out our
sex. It's not for that.
I know. We don't have to.
Oh,
but we've had to use them for.
I was in
your diarrhea.
I was in this episode of. By mistake, I was in. You could see me as walking in the camera of an episode of that show, Looking. It was this.
It was an HBO.
It was this HBO series. It was about homosexual men living in San Francisco, and they shot in San Francisco often. And I remember, like, a friend of mine came up to me one time, who's, I guess it was a roommate in college, and I hadn't seen him in years, and I ran into him in the Castro in San Francisco, and he said, "Hey, I saw you on Looking," and I was like, "What?" And my mind immediately went to thinking about this one time that they were shooting in front of this Walgreens in my neighborhood, and it was a really small film crew. It was like 3 people, and I thought it was like some short film these like students were making, and I kind of got in the way of the camera, kind of really noticeably. It was kind of on accident, but maybe a little bit on purpose, because I thought,
oh my God,
let me just like get in here. I want to see what happens. And then I like immediately went home and started searching for like maybe episodes that the Walgreens could possibly be in. And I found it, and I was like, oh my God, there I am. And part of the episode, they went into the Walgreens to buy an enema. Anyway, that was the whole.
That was the roundabout way of getting to that. I was like, how is this going to relate to what we were just talking about?
I was curious. I thought you were going to say like you're like an icon in the homosexual community on accident or something.
No, but another friend of mine actually recently was watching the show,
Well,
and
Max
he emailed me and said, "Did you get paid for this?" And I was like, "No." It was kind of a funny thing.
I used to do extra work when I graduated from college, and I would purposely try to do ridiculous things in the background and see if they would tell me to stop or not.
That's why you're not getting jobs anymore.
Maybe you're right.
Yeah.
Although we actually, Max and I just acted in a film a couple days ago, and we went to upstate New York to do it. Pretty cool.
Was it a family home video?
That's what it was. Yeah. But it was cool, actually. Had never been up to the upstate New York before during the fall, and you get to see.
Oh my God, that was been so nice.
Yeah, we got to see some of the fall foliage.
Sort of, but it wasn't.
It was. I
guess it's maybe because of the weather, but it hasn't. The contrast between like colors of leaves is not as great as I was expecting.
We did see some.
We saw some as we were coming back home, but it wasn't as like.
But we went swimming
in
in one of the lakes, the Finger Lakes. There, that was pretty cool.
Oh my gosh. I'm so jealous of people that can just like go decompress upstate whenever they feel like it.
Well, right. Don't get me wrong. We had to.
We don't get to do that all the time.
We had to wake up really early to start shooting. Like we had to wake up at like 5 in the morning.
But like those people, they're like, I'm going upstate for the weekend.
I know. I would love to do that too.
Yeah.
But this was,
you hear about people taking vacations all the time, and I'm like, have I ever been on like a true vacation where all you do is relax? I don't think I have.
I don't think you can for your job. That's like you're working all the time for your shit. I don't think you can.
Well, yeah. Even like we went to Los Angeles recently, and even out there we were doing shows, mm-hmm. and like I was like online all the time, promoting certain things and.
Yeah, I think someday I get to relax a little bit more.
Eventually, when people book shit for you and you don't have to do it yourself anymore.
Right.
And you can.
Exactly.
So let's get back to the dating apps. We've talked about Guydonna and my experience with it, but we haven't really talked much about Max. I don't know how much you're willing to divulge, Max, but you
Tell
said you're
everything.
more interested in exploring dating apps now. What do you want to share with us?
What are you trying to ask exactly?
What do you want to share with us?
Well, I'm more interested in exploring the dating sites. It's hard to meet people just.
And have you?
Not really, not yet, because we just got out of this quarantine. I haven't since we've gotten out of the quarantine. We've been busy constantly. I haven't done any ounce.
I know, but
of
it doesn't mean you can't just scroll through and.
Sure, absolutely. But I just feel like, well, what's the point of doing this right now when I haven't been able to? Like, I'm not. It's like when I can have a break a little bit, then I'll get more.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's like I have to create my profiles and stuff like that. I don't want to like just haphazardly do it and stuff like that. It's. It's like, then what's the point, really? I don't know.
How much work do you put into creating a good profile for a dating site, Guydonna?
I used to go in, but now I don't know. Let's read. I have two different ones.
Oh, I mean, you
My
don't have.
Tinder says I will because it's really stupid. Oh, what is this? Why does it say my Tinder's only 84% complete? What's going on?
It does that, they want you to do these extra little stupid steps.
Mine says, y'all ever be eating pasta? Into streetwear, sneakers, Twitch, comedy, anime, and BDSM, among other things. 420, vaxxed, poly but not partnered. Open to all sorts of different situations. Going with the flow. Like, yeah, people eat pasta. Why did I put that? I don't know. And then my kink one has the same thing, but the first part, it doesn't say pasta. It says just trying to watch anime and edge you till you beg for mercy. That's it. I don't go in anymore. Tell my whole life story and shit.
I was going to say my opinions also started
So
changing.
the life story. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say my opinions about online dating started changing also more during the quarantine because, you're being isolated from people so much. I think I started thinking more about, well, you start thinking about more of the situation you're in. I guess, you can see how that kind of influences your thoughts about, not wanting to be that lonely anymore, I guess, I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure people were definitely much more serious, being more genuine, trying to reach out to other people because they don't want to be lonely anymore. Like, they didn't just have, like, their throwaway. Like, a lot of people who just make a dating site and they don't fill out their bio at all, which I fucking hate. Like, write something.
Right. I agree.
But, yeah, I think people putting more effort during quarantine.
Sure.
Whenever there's less...
Make real connections.
If there's a profile that has, like, almost nothing, I think it's a bot often, And if it's
that
not, then
sense.
that person is not doing a good job.
Where'd my cursor go? Oh, here.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the site that you're using, but certain ones like Tinder or Bumble, I won't put a whole life story kind of thing. I'll just put a sentence or two. But
I mean, people appreciate it, but I'm just saying I used to have paragraph.
Well, but something like OkCupid, which I use as well, that has a lot more on there,
You know how people say, what is it?
You guys like my pillow?
Oh,
I do, yeah.
I've seen that before.
We've seen that before, and it's a great pillow, yeah.
You know how people say, okay, boomer? Do people ever say, okay, Cupid?
No.
I don't know.
No one even uses that anymore, I don't think, really. I see their ads. They're like going hard on the train ads, though.
I do see those ads
okay,
on the
boomer?
train a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, Cupid.
No. Yeah, okay, Cupid.
But nobody uses okay. I thought you were saying the expressions the young people are using it. That's
anymore.
like, I'm so far out of the loop. They're not using okay boomer anymore. I thought you were saying it.
I think that's past now, though. Like saying swag, I think okay boomer has had its time and is gone now.
I think people are not saying that as much either. But yeah, I do see those.
I don't really hear people talking about their okay Cupid much.
I do see those ads a lot, though. Yeah, on the trains. I mean, obviously, there's some people using it. I mean,
Yeah, of course. But that's not like the name. That name is not dropped
right
very often when people are talking about.
I want to get.
I've
to
seen
a point.
Hinge a few times on the subway.
Yeah, that's the one I think that's actually legit and for real. But like, I've never used it because you had to have Facebook to make an account or some shit.
Right.
And I'm not making a Facebook, so I never went on there. But
I kind of like the idea. Hopefully, get to a point where I can.
Why would they do that? You have to have a Facebook.
Okay, you just interrupt me.
I think it's for your likes and shit. So for compatibility reasons of how their site functions, they find you matches through your Facebook likes.
Exactly.
I don't know.
She's exactly right about that. I think
they
show.
Oh, go ahead,
Max. You keep interrupting me. The Hinge works because there's like related connections on Facebook, whether it be through likes or friends of friends of friends kind of situation. Mm-hmm. It's basically a way to ensure that there's not really any bots you're dealing with, but more real people,
Which makes sense.
I mean, I tend not to like stuff too much on social media, actually.
No, but Max, it also just, you have friends on Facebook, right? That could be a way to...
Sure, but there's also friends of... There's like people that friend me that I barely even, you know... maybe never met them in real life at all, actually, you know?
Sure. Yeah, hopefully I get to a point where I can use that site Raya eventually, you know?
Oh, yeah, for celebrities or something.
It is, yeah.
It is, but you don't have to be like a huge, you know, celebrity or anything, I think, to be on it, from what I understand.
I kind of like the idea of it, or I don't know if I mean, I like the idea of meeting somebody that's ambitious, you know, and I don't know, I guess successful enough to be on there. Although, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of, I don't know, it's not that important.
People who know people who know people.
Right, exactly.
Well, people connections, that's also valuable to have.
That is true. That's true, sure. So you've been meeting a lot of friends on the dating sites. Do you ever go on there? Because I know there's like options like on Bumble to be on there just to make friends. Do you ever go on these apps specifically to find friends, or just it happens that way that you end up being?
It just happens that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, I don't know. I wish there was something more widely used to make friends, because I do have like a lot of male friends and I don't have that many female friends, which like naturally that's fine for me because I get along with guys easier, but I do regret that, not having a gal pal relationship, really. Just a lot of guys.
What about
my interests?
Gabby, right? She's a gal pal, right?
We don't talk too much nowadays, but yeah.
What?
Like, we don't have the same interests, I would say. We're only, like, best friends since high school. We have, like, history together. And that's why we're friends. Like, I want a gal pal. Like, they're going to be sitting next to me, also trying to get the sneakers that drop at 11 a.m. with me, you know, like, stuff like that.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
So why do you think most of your friends are guys? I guess...
Because I'm not dating girls.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Okay,
because you're making these friends through dating sites, I see.
And
Yes.
But do you think your interests fall in line more with what might be considered more male interests or not? I don't know.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Do you think there's more guys who like anime than girls?
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that.
I don't think so.
I mean, there's like...
I mean, I don't know.
There's like these cosplay, you know...
Oh, that's true.
Things that... There's plenty of women.
No, you're right. I don't know. That's why I was asking. I don't know, because I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe the guys are more in your face about it or something, but they're definitely... Like, I'm a freaking girl otaku nerd. Like, I have a freaking anime body pillow over there.
I wouldn't say that.
You know, I'm just speaking purely from like... You know, when we were in middle school, for example, you know, we watched Dragon Ball Z, and, you know, the only people we were really talking about were guys, I guess. I mean, back then. But, you know, I don't know. Maybe we just weren't as aware of the girls that were into it.
I guess middle schoolers, they just do kind of just hang out with their peoples.
Sure.
You know, I don't know, but I honestly hang out with guys in middle school too.
Sure. You know, I hung out with girls in middle school, yeah.
I can't even think. I just always hang out with guys.
Interesting. Well, you know, hey, that just happens, you know. It just happens that way.
But that's interesting that you do wish that you had a gal pal though, too.
Yeah.
What about at work? There's nobody at work that's like...
I have one friend at work that we're really close friends, and she's into anime, and she's like a Lolita. It's like she does the whole dress up, like with the big frilly dresses and stuff, you know, and the wigs and things. Oh, right. That is a rarity though. Like everyone else out of my office, like they all watch The Bachelor and shit, and I don't, and so I hang out with the guys and we all buy sneakers together. Like that's
interesting.
You know, I tried watching The Bachelor the other night for the first time in my life.
It's boring.
It is so bad, or it's so boring.
I just saw an ad. I was like, ew, but that's gross. I can't.
I don't want to bash anything like I mean, I don't know. I guess it's okay.
Hey, if people are into it, that's all.
If you're
good,
into
too.
that, and
That's
you're
a job opportunity for you guys.
Yeah, let's
Don't
cut
talk shit.
it out.
Yeah.
Cut it out.
Yeah.
You know,
Blasphemy, I would never.
Well, okay.
Max, say things.
Well, I got nothing to say.
I mean, you don't have any
Why?
other opinions. We haven't learned enough about you, Max, and your
What do you
relationship
wanna
with
know? I
Katie.
mean,
What kind of girls are you looking for, Max?
I mean, I'm just.
If you were looking,
I mean, what is that? That's such a broad thing to say. I mean, it's
if
like.
you weren't busy, if you were like, oh, I have all the time in the world, I have all this money.
Well, I don't
just wish
know.
I
It's
could
like I
spoil
would like somebody
somebody.
that has similar interests in me, but that there can be. I was really, into this one girl before that. We didn't have a whole lot in common, but there was just a chemistry there that just was undeniable.
Chemistry. What do you mean?
I know. I agree. What does that mean?
Well, all I can say is that there was a mutual attraction to each other that was. I have a sort of an idealized version of who I think I want to be into, and she was not it, and yet we were very much into each other, though. And it was just, and that's what I can only describe it as quote unquote chemistry, in that there was beyond, intellectualizing things. It was just a feeling that you had for that person, there was an undeniable attraction. And I mean, she was very gregarious and which I liked, and very dynamic. And that is something that I am looking for in someone.
What does that mean?
Just very sociable and very
Outgoing,
outgoing and we had similar sensibilities and the types of humor we liked. I don't want to talk too much about my private life because I kind of like to respect the other person.
Fictional
Actually,
tale, Max. You write great fictions. Wow.
But anyway, what I'm trying to say is, I do. I would like somebody who they don't have to necessarily. I would like somebody who's funny, but they don't have to necessarily be funny. They just have to have a good sense of humor. I know that's a common thing for people to say.
Looks aren't a thing for you. It's just all about personality.
No, looks are a thing for him for sure.
I mean, I have to be attracted to them physically too. I mean, otherwise, then it would be more. But I will say it's not like it doesn't have to be what somebody would consider as the traditionally most beautiful person in the world kind of a thing. I think, to me, like, if their personality is really strong, that can
make them more attractive
physically to me in a way. Like,
so when you're swiping, you don't have a chance to talk to them while they're swiping. What's like the first thing where you stop? You're like, okay, you caught me. Like, you're like,
well, same thing as if I was going to ask somebody that I, some stranger, like in the real world, if I
on the subway or something. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to say.
They have,
it's just
white eyes. Their hair is a certain length.
Not necessarily. It could be all. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different beautiful women out there that I think.
I mean, Guydonna, do you have a specific
completely
type of
different
guy?
looking from one another? I don't know how to.
I don't know.
I don't have a type.
I don't think so.
Right.
I like nice lips. That's what gets me. If you have nice lips, then I will continue to learn about you. And then if it's enough, then okay.
Mm-hmm, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe. I don't know. Maybe when I was younger, I had more specific types. But then as I got older,
are you settling already?
No, not settling. Broadening. No, it's not even that. Okay. It's just my. You just.
I feel like I was.
I'll give you an example. There was a girl in 9th grade that all the boys thought she was so attractive, and I just didn't get it. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then 11th grade, I had a huge crush on her. I just, anyway.
Oh, was it her boobs?
No, she just looked pretty. It was just, well, your taste. Sometimes you don't realize. Sometimes you just.
Even when
you start appreciating things more when you're older.
Even when I was in college, I feel like the scope of maybe what I thought was attractive was more limited than what it is now, and I wish it weren't as limited back then, because I think I would have taken more chances back then. and I wish I had.
There's no better time than the present, as they say. Whoever said that.
Yeah, that's true.
Sure. I guess.
Yeah. If you said that last year, then it would have been like, well, there are better times.
Here's something I could be a little more specific about. If I were to find somebody right now, it would have to be somebody that would be okay with me just like, I kind of want something that is, I want to be in an exclusive relationship, but at the same time, they'd have to understand that I couldn't be there all the time because I'm really busy. And I would want them to be busy with their thing too. Like I want them to be like just as passionate about whatever they're doing. And yet we're kind of like.
Power couple. You want to be married.
No, I don't want to be married. I don't want to be married. I don't know what. I
don't know.
I
know what you mean. That's hard. It's hard. You're busy. It's hard.
It's a hard thing, you know? I mean, I don't know what to say. It's like.
You have to have time to be in a relationship.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well.
To be able to build that connection to be okay with you guys being busy with their own thing.
That too. But,
it takes time.
I'd say I'd probably have more time maybe in the next, I would say in the next few months. There'll be a certain moment when I feel like, okay, I'll be done with this chunk of stuff that I've been working on. And
when it's cold and you're alone in your room, it's cuffing season, as they say.
Yeah, but you can be very stylish in the winter too, and that could be good too.
Yeah.
I
do think.
Yes. Do you think fashion is better in particular seasons than other seasons?
I mean, layers are always great.
Right.
Maybe I feel like maybe now, because when it's winter, like you can have on like the most sickest fit, but it's under a huge parka and you don't see
That's
it.
True.
So.
That's true. I agree.
Yeah.
I probably would say autumn. Yeah, autumn has maybe the best because you can wear some layers, but it's not over abundant amount of layers.
Yes.
Yeah. When you're in the middle of the winter, sometimes you're just like.
I'm just putting out as much as I can on right now. It's too cold.
If it's too cold, I don't care about the way I'm looking necessarily. I'm just trying to stay warm,
Yeah.
Sometimes, especially in the middle of the winter in New York, I'll wear this like sort of hat thing that I would never normally wear. It has like the things that come down over your ears. And I thought you were about to grab one of those hats.
No.
It looks like some kind of, it looks like a hunting hat or something like that. And I don't know. I would never. It's really warm though, but
it's got the ear flaps.
I mean, yeah, it's a winter hat. It's a winter hat.
But you can't really see
wear that hat in the winter.
You wear it and you're like covering up, a lot of your head. Where
Well, yeah. I mean, I'll wear a beanie.
But you would wear that hat. It's winter. You would wear that hat.
Right, but not for more for a functional reason rather than a fashion reason, right?
If you cared, then you would find a fashionable one.
If I cared,
Yeah, but Nicky especially, I think, would say that to him, his hair matters. In terms of
so maybe I should get
what
some
he wants to
earmuffs.
convey to the world as his personal style.
Yeah,
so covering that up is actually
go behind your neck.
Yeah, maybe I should get one of those. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the ears they say are the ones that get the coldest. Yeah. So you can get the earmuffs.
It's true. I need to get better earmuffs. Anytime I do put on a hat that covers my ears, I'm like, oh my God, this is great. What have I been doing? But I never cover my head. I don't know why.
Extremities. It's like the fingers. You always, that's what gets the coldest the most.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But anyway, well, I think we've talked a good amount about dating sites. Any last words about it?
I don't know. I'm single. If you have nice lips and a huge dick and a lot of money, call me. That's it. That's all I have to say.
Did you want to mention, I know you've been doing a lot of Twitch recently. Did you want to mention that?
Oh my God, no. I've been so lazy with that.
Okay, well, never mind then.
It's DRKN55 on Twitch.
And you play video games on there, right?
Play video games, but now I'm going to switch to doing Blender and 3D design because I'm going to start making my own NFTs. So.
Oh, you're doing that? That's interesting.
Cool. Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And Max, do you want to mention any last words of wisdom or anything like that?
I will say, whatever you're doing, be it online dating or just being out in the real world. I know we're talking about online dating a lot, but I would say don't give up the possibility of meeting somebody in the outside world too, everyone out there, and be, confident enough to approach somebody too. I think that's still that's to me an attractive quality. I think when somebody has
that's hard.
Yeah, but I think it's a cool thing. But don't be like don't be
Overly
abrasive
aggressive
about
about
it, and don't be like a weirdo about it.
You should like the Beatles because I do, like that. Don't do that.
Right,
don't be
don't
that
do that.
person.
No, but
Those guys named Nicky. Continue.
I will quote something that I heard from Frasier that I think I found very pertinent to this conversation, and it's by the writer John Greenleaf Whittier, who was a writer from the 1800s. The saddest thing, of all sad things, of tongue or pen, the saddest are the... No, sorry. No, that's right. Of all sad things, of tongue or pen, the saddest are these. It might have been. So don't live your life in regret, and go ask that person out that you were interested in, Don't pass up an opportunity, I guess.
A terrible thing with online dating where you don't form an actual connection is because you're always swiping and something better could be coming your way. You feel like it's kind of like a lottery. You get the dopamine or whatever of matching with someone else, so you don't really commit to speaking to the first person that you match with, because there could be someone else better that you should be putting your effort into.
Or that's what you think. That's what you think, that there's someone better.
So that's a huge fault
right.
to dating apps, I think.
And so, like,
instead of investing the time to really get to know,
when you meet somebody in person, that's the only person there, and you're there.
Yes.
Oh, in real life, yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, it's less likely for you to find someone that you find attractive outside that also likes splitting hairs with Max and Nicky. Like, if you happen to meet that person outside, and you're like, holy shit, then you're gonna put more time, but you're not gonna go out the next night and find that same person.
Right.
You can swipe and
right. Oh, that's an interesting aspect to. As Max said, it's. I'm a proponent for any form of dating, whether it be online or in real life, and wherever you find your true match or matches, that's cool, and I'm open to it. Guydonna, thank you so much for joining us on this really interesting and sort of eye-opening edition of Splitting Hairs with Max and Nicky. And thank you all for tuning in to another edition of Splitting Hairs with Max and Nicky.
Thanks.
Tune in next time. Tune in next time.
Once again, if you like what you heard or saw today on our special edition of Splitting Hairs with Max and Nicky and like to view or listen to more content from us, please visit our Patreon page, patreon.com/splittinghairs, and become an exclusive member today.